Drop the harpoon now!
As excitement builds around Avatar: Fire and Ash, James Cameron is pulling back the curtain on what's coming next, and not just in theaters. He's hinting at big plans for the franchise on television too, just as the buzz around the movie's trailer kicks into full gear. There are a bunch of new developments, including a game-changing character named Pelak, the introduction of new tribes, and a deeper look at Jake Sully's personal journey. So, let's dig into all of it, because the Avatar world is about to expand in a major way. One of the biggest reveals came straight from Cameron himself. A brand new character from the Wind Tribe is going to be central to not just Avatar: Fire and Ash, but also the next 3 movies. This character isn't just a one-off addition, they're part of a long-term plan Cameron is mapping out, kind of like what he did with Ronal and Tonawari in The Way of Water. So we're not just getting more of Pandora, we're getting more people, more cultures, and more stories that'll be crucial as the franchise moves forward. What makes the Wind Traders different, according to Cameron, is that they're 100% Na'vi, but they aren't tied to any specific place. That already makes them stand apart from the forest-dwelling Omaticaya or the ocean-bound Metkayina. Cameron has always emphasized how much he cares about world-building. He even said The Godfather helped inspire this epic, multi-generational style of storytelling, which explains why he's playing such a long game. He's promising that the slow burn will pay off. We also got a sneak peek at Pelak, played by David Thewlis. He's the Wind Traders' Sky Captain, and although he didn't pop up in the recent trailer, his importance has already been teased since concept art of him dropped earlier this year. Cameron's clearly setting him up to play a major role not just in Fire and Ash, but all the way through Avatar 5. So it's looking like the Wind Tribe and Pelak are going to be pivotal players as this story unfolds. And it's not just the Wind Tribe joining the scene. The Ash Clan, led by Varang, played by Oona Chaplin, is also debuting in Fire and Ash. That means this movie is doing something no Avatar film has done before, introducing 2 entirely new tribes at once. It's a big move that reflects how fast this universe is growing. Back in 2009, the first film gave us just a glimpse of Pandora's diversity, mostly focusing on the Omaticaya. Then, The Way of Water expanded that world with the Metkayina. But Fire and Ash seems to be going all in, and the future of the franchise might just depend on it. With so many new characters and tribes being introduced, it naturally raises a question. Is Avatar starting to move away from Jake Sully and his family as the core of the story? Cameron hasn't confirmed anything like that directly, but all signs point toward a gradual shift. Sure, Jake will still be around for now, but Fire and Ash may begin laying the groundwork for someone else to eventually step into the spotlight, maybe even Pelak. That said, Jake's story isn't taking a backseat just yet. Cameron and Sam Worthington, who's played Jake since the first film, have both opened up about how Jake will evolve in Fire and Ash. They both emphasize how the Sully family is still reeling from the loss of Netayam in The Way of Water, and that grief is driving everything Jake does in the upcoming film. According to Cameron, every character is reacting from a place of trauma, which helps explain Jake's mental state. Worthington describes how Jake, overwhelmed by his son's death, reverts back to what he knows, being a soldier. He's not the peacemaker we saw in The Way of Water anymore. Instead, he's leaning into combat again, not because he wants to fight, but because it's the only way he knows how to cope. This creates an emotional rift in the Sully household. Zoë Saldaña, who plays Neytiri, revealed that the family's grief has torn them apart. Jake and Neytiri apparently split in terms of how they're handling the loss. Jake charges back into war mode while Neytiri retreats into herself, consumed by anger and pain. The trailer already hinted at this when Jake shouted at her to let go of her hatred. Clearly, the emotional weight of Netayam's death is going to play a major role in both their stories. So what does this mean for Jake in the long run? His journey seems to be circling back to where it started in 2009. Back then, Jake was a soldier thrust into a strange world he didn't understand. Over time, he learned to love Pandora, Neytiri, and the Na'vi way of life. He changed. In The Way of Water, he even became a father who valued peace. But now that he's grieving, he's falling back into old patterns, and some people think this could lead to his death in Avatar 3. Still, that seems a little too predictable. More likely, Jake's arc is heading towards something entirely new. He's not just a soldier anymore, and he can't simply be a peacemaker again. As Worthington puts it, Jake has to become something else. Maybe that means taking on a leadership role that transcends fighting or peacekeeping, something wiser, more balanced. It's an intriguing path, especially since it parallels the growing complexity of the world around him. But the Avatar universe isn't just growing in theaters. Cameron has revealed that he's developing an animated anthology series set in the Avatar world in collaboration with Disney. It's still early, but his vision is exciting. He wants to tell stories that audiences wouldn't expect, stories that don't necessarily fit into the main plotline of the movies, but still enrich the world of Pandora. He's thinking about diving into the past, like the first humans who landed on Pandora or the early expeditions that shaped human-Na'vi interactions. Cameron mentioned the possibility of these stories coming out as either short-form episodes on streaming platforms or full-on animated features, depending on what fits best. He hasn't mapped everything out yet, but the creative wheels are definitely turning. If done right, this could be a smart move. Animated anthology series have worked well for other franchises. Just look at how successful Star Wars has been with shows like The Clone Wars and Visions, or how Marvel's What If introduced new ideas without changing the core universe. Even Arcane showed how animation can bring rich, layered stories to life, and Pandora is the perfect playground for that. Plus, the Avatar films are so big and dense that there's a lot we just don't get to see on screen. A show like this could fill in those blanks and give fans a deeper understanding of the world. You could tell stories from the perspective of side characters or explore events that happen behind the scenes during the movies. That way, the films can stay focused on the big picture, while the show gets to dive into smaller, more personal stories. Now, while some might start wondering whether a live-action series could also be on the table, Cameron hasn't gone there, and honestly, it's probably better if he doesn't. Not every franchise needs a live-action spin-off. With the scale and beauty of Pandora, animation feels like the only medium that can really do it justice on TV. Plus, given how hit-or-miss Disney's live-action Marvel and Star Wars shows have been lately, keeping Avatar animated might be the safer and better choice. At the end of the day, what matters is that James Cameron is still deeply invested in this world he's been building for decades. Between Fire and Ash, the next few sequels, and now this animated expansion, it's clear he's not running out of ideas anytime soon. As long as he's at the helm, Avatar fans can expect not just more content, but more thoughtful, detailed storytelling both on the big screen and soon enough on television too. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.